Saved your ass, Happy. You're welcome.
Hey, chopper right on us.
Oh, I got the driver!
What's up, my fellow alcoholics, and welcome to the channel. And in today's video we'll be going over the very first LMG, which is the PKM, and I'm also going to be sharing with you a ground war loadout and a 6v6 map loadout, and what it is that I use on these guns, because I don't use the same loadout for everything. I tend to change it up depending on playstyle, depending on map quality, map size, everything. So first I'll be covering the ground war map loadouts that I use for the PKM, and then we'll go into the 6v6. So the ground war loadout that I run for the PKM, I start with a muzzle. I start with a compensator for the recoil control, because it definitely helps for those long range shots. For the barrel, I went with a 26.9 inch extended barrel for the damage over range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Going to the optics, I ran a 3.25 or a 3.0 optic. I did also run holographics and red dots. You can run anything you guys want. It's personal preference. I just use a little bit higher zoom optic for the size of the map. Stippled grip tape is what I use for the rear grip, for the ADS speed and the sprint to fire speed. And the underbarrel, I went for the unique underbarrel snatch grip. Now, it controls recoil and it helps with ADS time. You can use the Merc foregrip for the hip fire accuracy, but if you are not using the snatch grip on your PKM, then you are using your PKM wrong. And the reason why I say that is because the snatch grip is the only grip attachment for the PKM. There's nothing else in the game that takes a snatch grip. That's what makes it so unique. It is the only foregrip. The PKM is the only gun the snatch grip can go on. So that in itself is just telling you that you just need to run this unique attachment, because it actually benefits in two areas that you need the most for the PKM, and that's to help with the recoil control, and it helps with your ADS time. Now, definitely a slower ADS setup for the gun, but it is ground war, and you should be using the LMG like an LMG, and I'll go over that in a little bit. The 6v6 loadout is what I have up here now. Is the 18.2 inch compact barrel is what you need to run for your ADS time. The 5 milliwatt laser is good for hip fire and your sprint out speed, although I don't tend to run it too much depending on the map. And I do use the close quarter stock. You can use the no stock, but it kind of messes up your recoil. But I use that for the ADS time. And in the rear grip, I go with the stippled grip tape for the ADS time and the sprint to fire speed. And then of course the snatch grip definitely helps for the ADS time and the recoil control. You're definitely going to need the recoil control, because the shorter compact barrel tends to let the LMG kick up a little bit stronger, but only after like maybe 10 or 15 rounds, then the gun starts losing control of its recoil and starts going vertical. There is hardly any horizontal recoil when it comes to the PKM. It's very manageable, but there is a ton of vertical recoil, as you'll see in a little bit with the wall test. So with the wall test, I ran a completely stock PKM, and then I'm showing you the examples of not only the ground war but my 6v6 loadout. And in the 6v6 loadout one, I used the attachment with the loadout with the laser sight, just to show you how well it is with the ADS time and all that. So this is the PKM with no attachments, standard. As you can see, it's all vertical, going all the way up to that Cromwell sign and above it. It's all vertical recoil. There's hardly any horizontal recoil, so definitely don't need any attachments for horizontal recoil, which would be attachments that help with recoil stabilization. You need to go heavy on recoil control pro attachments. This is the ground war setup. As you can see, the vertical recoil is amazingly improved. It has a tighter pattern all the way up. It's a little over half the distance up the wall. So definitely a big improvement there. And then this is the 6v6 loadout. And as you can see, the first 15 rounds were dead center of a target, and then it starts to go out of control with its recoil control. So if you look straight ahead there, you'll see that there's a very, very, very tight pattern of shots, almost circular, and then it started to go upward. So definitely good loadouts, definitely good setups. I mean, I enjoy using them. As you'll see in the gameplays here, in the Ground War gameplay, it's the same loadout. In the 6v6 multiplayer, I ran with an optic rather than the laser sight because I really felt like I didn't need the laser sight because I was playing headquarters, as you'll see later. And with the headquarters, I'm not necessarily playing the role of capping it too much. I mean, I should play the objective. Yes, you know, everybody's correct about that. But I also played the role of a supported gunner. So in other words, I played the role of an LMG player, and that particular role has to do with holding down an area, having suppressed gunfire, keeping the enemy away from the objective. Is what you want to play like with an LMG. The 6v6 loadout I have is for an aggressive type play style, but not overly aggressive. It's to help you get around the map better without getting caught with your pants down, you know, double, you know, tapping your sprint for your double sprint and everything like that, your super sprint and everything. It's designed to help you with a surprised enemy, like a surprising enemy around the corner. So that's what that loadout is, but it also is set up to defend the objective. You can run the 200 round belt fed magazine and the 150. They're both really, really useful. But to be honest with you, I like to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. So I like to go from one extreme to the next. The 150 to me isn't very useful. It doesn't really hinder too much to your ADS time like the 200 round mag does. The 200 round mag will slow your ADS time down just a little bit and your movement speed a little bit, but you really won't feel it too much in the game. But I mean, if I would choose to run a 200 round mag, I would probably run that on Ground War, simply because you're going up against 32 people on the opposite team. So you got to have enough ammo to take out as many as you can before they take you out, and you don't want to get caught reloading at that point. So definitely my personal opinion on the PKM, definitely one of my favorite LMGs. It's very useful at long range, extremely dangerous at long range. It's a 3 to 4 shot kill, 3 shot being up close, 4 at any other distance, and we're talking like across the map. I mean, it has a lot of range on it, especially when you throw on the barrel setup that I suggested. You can go for the other barrel attachment, the longer barrel, but it just slows down your ADS time, and you don't want to feel that effect. Having a 3 times optic on the gun is already affecting the ADS time, but like I said, it's Ground War. I'm not pushing objectives too hard. Well, with an LMG like this, I'm more or less gonna try to hold down an area, like I was saying earlier. So definitely a fun gun to me. Definitely. The 6v6 loadout that I had set up, that was a lot of fun to use too. I can get a little more aggressive with that loadout, and especially running the hip fire accuracy with the 5 milliwatt. I mean, that was a lot of fun because it really tightens up the hip fire spread to that of an AR type of hip fire spread. So definitely an improvement for the gun. But I'd like to know down in the comments what you guys think about the PKM, and I'd also like to know how it is that you guys run your PKM loadouts, and only because I wouldn't mind trying your guys' loadouts as well. So definitely drop it down in the comments. And if you like this video and you found it very useful, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Your support right there is very much appreciated. Next, we'll be going over the following LMG, and then we're going to finish out the whole LMGs, and then we're going to get right into the SMGs for you guys. And we're going to probably go into the sniper rifles and marksmans after the SMGs, simply because we got to cover both. That's a very wide spectrum of loadout of a gun type. You got marksman rifles that are faster than sniper rifles when it comes to close range combat and ADS time. So definitely got to go in a lot into detail with those. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for stopping by. I will shut up. You guys watch the rest of this video and enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys next time.
HQ disabled. Get ready. UAV out. Okay, get ready to move.
So bad. Fuck.
Friendly UAV overhead. HQ is on way. Personal radar drone ready for action. Copy. Personal radar coverage. Hold out as long as you can. Jaguar 3-0. First shut down. Regroup. Okay, get ready to move. Indian warehouse. Get to the new HQ. HQ action. Stand by. Now that was a fight.